Hi, you guys. I am here today to talk about an experience that I had this last year, this past handful of months. During the COVID time, especially, I had a medical scare. And I just gained the courage to talk about it as I am going through my medical exam for work. My medical clearance needs all my doctor visits in the past year. And I have an interesting story that I'm sharing to bring awareness to health concerns and, more importantly, to men's health concerns. And I'm doing this not for answers, even though I'm looking for answers. I'm looking for different ways of being healthy that are true ways of being healthy, not just quick fixes, not just things like that, but complete change of lifestyle things. And so far, I have done a complete lifestyle change, and I have the energy now to evolve and continue that. So I hope in the future that I'll have the energy to share the different paths that I'm taking to deal with what came up. So what came up was, we'll start with my first medical exam. I went to my primary physician just because my wife was going, and I haven't had a general checkup in a long time. So I went and I told my doctor that I've been getting up more at night, more frequently peeing. And then it further questions brought up that it started looking a little funny, whereas I just wouldn't have thought about it, wouldn't have even considered anything. It just evolved into other questions. And so this came up a referral to go to a proctologist, a urologist. So the urologist, I've never given any thought about it, no family history of problems with prostate or anything down there, so it didn't come up. And I always heard 50 years was the age to go in and get tested. And so I didn't think much of it, because I also got referred to a dermatologist to look at this skin thing I have, and so it wasn't on my radar. Nor have I ever been to an appointment like that. So that came to my first interesting experience. I went to the urologist, and first there was a physician's assistant, and she did the exam, and she noticed something odd. She's like, "I'm going to get the doctor, and we'll probably do an ultrasound." So the next step was to do an ultrasound. And so she did an ultrasound, and she said, "Yeah, I see something abnormal. We're going to wait for the doctor." And the doctor came in and did his exam, and he noticed what he said was an asymmetrical something. I've never heard of an asymmetrical anything or anything of the sort. So I was like, that's interesting. And it's COVID time. I have my mask on. I'm naked, and got two people in there. They both got face shields and gloves and like hazmat suits, pretty much. And it was a very uncomfortable situation. It was a very uncomfortable experience for my first time. And also what happened was, I had to go to the bathroom really bad, and they said you got to wait to go to, because they're going to do a urine sample. And so also I've never heard of doing a bladder emptying thing. So when I went to the bathroom finally, I just went to the bathroom and I didn't completely empty my bladder. I didn't know that was a thing, but that was just another part of the exam. And so the doctor said, I would like you to follow up with an MRI and also take this medication. And the medication was an alpha inhibitor. I've never heard of it. I've never taken medication before other than Allegra. I did in the past for allergies, but I haven't had allergies, so I haven't had to take medication. And I said, is there anything else? And he said, I recommend, until we figure out what this asymmetrical thing is, it doesn't feel right, take this alpha inhibitor, and it smooths out your muscles, it calms your muscles down. So I said, okay. I took it for the first night, and in the morning I woke up and went to the bathroom, and I straight up, and luckily my wife was there and she caught me, and it made me pass out. That moment on, I said, F this. I am doing everything in my power, everything that I need to do to not take medication. I'm just not going to take medication. Fuck that. And so I stopped drinking coffee that day, and I stopped having sugar that day. Lately, before that, we were going to Starbucks every day. We were, I'd get donuts or whatnot, but I kept my weight down, so I thought, yeah, that's okay. Things are going well, and yeah. So I was living a basic healthy lifestyle, which I felt very good about, and so I look forward to talking about how this evolves. But so then. At that moment, I found a good prostate multivitamin, and so I started taking that, stopped coffee, stopped sugar, and I started doing things to calm me down a little bit. I started taking baths, and I actually started like short meditations and things that just in the morning I started doing. And so the MRI came a few weeks later. I got a call, we need to schedule your MRI. It got approved with your insurance. And so I said, okay, this might sound naive, but I have never had an MRI before. I have never heard of I've heard of an MRI, but I've never experienced it or knew about it. So I walked in the room when I got the MRI, and it was just like this huge machine. It's like bomb, 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 bomb. It's crazy, and luckily I was doing the meditations, because I just did like one of my meditations with the mantra that I could think of at the time, and piled through it. It was 45 minutes, and they inject something in you where they can see where your blood flows and all that. It was a shocking experience. It wasn't the most pleasant thing either. So, I didn't think about it. I'm a healthy person. And 2 days later, I get something in my Baptist Health thing. You have new documents in your thing. And I was upstairs, and I go, okay, I look at the document, and it says abnormal something something PI-RADS. PI-RADS, what the hell is PI-RADS? And I just did like a quick look on my phone. I said, look up PI-RADS. And holy shit, it's not that cool. There's a scale between 1 and 5 of first of all, if you get a scale, if you get a PI-RADS, there's a good chance that you have a lesion or I don't even know the technical terms yet, even though I've done a lot of reading about it, and I just there's just so much information out there. And so the understanding that I got is pretty much there's something there, and depending on the 1 to 5, it's how malignant how aggressive it is. So to have a PI-RADS is a pretty good chance that it's cancerous. I went downstairs and I saw my wife and I said, well, just read this. I don't know, I can't comprehend what it says. I can't figure it out. Can you please help me out? And so, yeah, so that's what happened. And this was a Friday afternoon, and I call in the doctor's office. Of course, he's out, and what do you do with that information? With that, I made a telecall for the Monday. So over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I told my family members, I'm like, holy shit, this is what's going on. And Monday came along, talked to the doctor. He said, yes, it doesn't look good. But the next step is a biopsy to confirm it. And with my previous decision of not taking medicine, this just totally threw that. It just like, wow, where do I even start with this? Where do I even begin? And so he also said during COVID time, it's going to be a few months before we're able to get you an appointment. I tried to of course, to find out what's going on or what exactly I have or what the deal is. I called around seeing if I can get an earlier appointment, and of course with COVID, it just wasn't happening. I got something a few weeks earlier. So the time schedule is in August, mid-August, I went to my first exam, and then mid-September, I did my MRI, and now I have my biopsy scheduled for November. So right after my MRI, I said, my doctor, he was like, totally awesome and supportive and enlightening in a way. He said, I really want you to read this book, Chris Beats Cancer. I was shaking, I don't know. And so I said, yeah, I'll read Chris Beats Cancer. I really haven't read books in my life. I haven't. Until the past few months, I have started reading quite a bit. Started with the first month, I did audiobooks, and then I started reading normal books. But I did get Chris Beats Cancer the next day. The next day, I watched a couple videos of him. I started reading the first couple chapters of the book, and I said, I am on board 100%. This is what I'm doing. I'll get into another video about Chris and about his wonderful work that he's doing, but it's a complete self-healing, life transformation way of living that will cleanse your body of anything and everything. I started it that day, and the diet consists of it has supplements. It has a total list of supplements. It has all the things that he did to beat cancer, all the things that he has learned over the years with all his interviews and everything that he does. So I ordered on Amazon anything he had to throw at me. Because I decided, and my wife Ann, she decided to do it along with me. It was both of us were going to do a life change. So that was like... So what it involves is juices, extreme amount of juice, vegetable juice. We already had a nice juicer, and now it's time that it started getting used. Right now, after some tweaking, after some things, so my diet consists of, in the morning, I drink 32 ounces of celery juice, fresh done celery juice. In the morning-ish time, I have what they call a heavy metal detox smoothie. Lunchtime, I have a carrot juice with a 16 ounce, let's say, carrot juice with a big salad, huge salad with totally got rid of oils, butter, anything like that. And it's been incredible what we've been able to make without those ingredients to just make delicious salads. So at first it started total vegan, raw, total protocol of, so then in the afternoon I would have another 32 ounces of celery juice. And then for dinner I have either steamed veggies with guacamole stuff on top, or a big salad, and some more carrot juice with ginger and turmeric. And of course got rid of caffeine, sugar, all of that. So this was 2 days after my MRI in September. And I didn't get an appointment until November 7th for my biopsy. So I went 2 months of hardcore, like, cleansing. I did a 3-day water fast that just like felt like it totally emptied me out. I dropped a bunch of weight. You know, I was fairly light before, but it just like, it really got it down to the core. I was just cleansing, and I'd go into the bathroom just like non-stop, just like flushing it out and putting it more in. Just anything, the body is only going to grasp good stuff. I talked to my doctor again a couple weeks after the MRI, and he was excited what I started doing with Chris Beats Cancer, and what I started doing with meditation, and what I was reading and stuff like that. He said, and during my times, it was funny because I found this guy called the medical medium, Anthony William, and I'll talk to you about that in a later time in another video, but this guy is mind-blowing, change your life stuff. And he recommended Anthony Williams. I just found him yesterday, and I'm on board 100%. So now I've come up with this hybrid Chris Beats Cancer with Anthony William hybrid diet, which I'll share in another video. But this was my experience. And then I was going to work too, you know, working with COVID and next to a bunch of people, and doing what I do with this kind of scare. You know, I didn't want to tell anyone at work. I didn't want to feel weak, and I know a lot of guys feel this way, and this is why I want to do this video, is to really show that a lot of guys go through this a lot, and you aren't alone, because I mean, you couldn't believe it. So during this, I read all the books, tons of books on prostate cancer, about different methods of treatment and all that kind of stuff, and it all just is the worst, the absolute worst. You know, like the clear-cut method is just like, you take out your prostate. You know, you basically render yourself, there's a good chance you're incontinent. You're definitely can't have sex again, and scared the shit out of me. And it continues to, and that is why I'm continuing on this adventure. You know, I mean, radiation, chemo. I just went through my mom last year, going through surgery and radiation and chemo, and it's. I am doing everything in my power to not have to do something like that. And I am continuing to, and I will continue to. So that is my stance. So I did that all the way to the biopsy. I mean, straight hardcore 2 months of just flushing my body out with just nutrients, and just like nutrients, clean my liver, just flush my liver out. And, you know, it's 40 years. So I was 41 years old when this happened. I turned 42 here in a couple weeks. And it seems too young to deal with this kind of thing, or to make that kind of choice. But the more reading I do, it's just like, it seems like it's just happening more and more and more and more people with all the toxins we deal with all this stuff. It's just like your prostate is like the final point, or your filter point. It's just getting all the shit. It's getting all the toxins that you take in, not just at McDonald's, not just doing that but like your outside environment. So of course I'll talk about a later video if I get the energy to talk about the things we've done to clean our house, to really make our house a chemical free environment. So then it was biopsy time. I went to the Miami Cancer Institute. Of course, because of COVID, you got to go by yourself, right? I go in, get checked in. They put you through the little conveyor belt, following this young guy with the thing in his arm. You know he's going through chemo and barely walk. Just like I'm not gonna be. It's just it's a struggle. It's a struggle of what to do. You hear different ways of doing it, and different ways of things can be different. So please, I'm not asking for advice, health advice or anything like that in the video through this from you, even though I really appreciate your love and support. But I believe that this process is showing me how to live. So it's been an incredible blessing. So I did the procedure. The procedure involves taking core samples, 14 of them, out of your prostate, and it goes through your taint, which is like in between your, I've always said that in a funny manner, but I guess it's a real thing, really. It's like a staple gun that goes in there and takes core samples. It's really neat, the technology that's available, because they line up the MRI image with the ultrasound image and totally target it. And my urologist in that procedure was very awesome. He's very caring and straightforward. It took about 2 weeks to get the results. I guess they have to grow the cultures to see how they grow. And so that was a pretty nerve-wracking couple weeks. Finally, I called up the doctor. I said, I want my results. I said, what's the deal? And he said, I got them, we got them right here. So it was probably, they were sitting there for a while longer. And either way, I went through the process that I needed to go through to get to, do what it is. My wife and I parked, we were close to Miami Beach. We decided to go to the beach to open the email. And so in the email, it showed that all 14 core samples were benign. As a blessing, an absolute blessing. Of course, I was very happy. The interesting part of that is what you go through when you're through, or what I went through during that time, was that identity that comes with having cancer or an illness or something wrong with you. It's like getting that title. You have to live with it. In a way, it seems it's easier, but in a way, it's not easier. If I had cancer, or if I got diagnosed with cancer, the idea if I have it or not, or what the next steps are, or whatever, that's yet to be seen. But as far as I'm just talking the identity of having cancer, then you have cancer, and people, look at you different, and and getting a benign core samples, that's sort of like, oh wow, what am I going to do with this? I don't have an identity. I'm just Brent, right? So that's something struggling with too, really finding my own self-worth. So this is all played out a little bit. So it's coming to later November, and I got the results. They came back benign. Awesome. Had a meeting with the doctor, a handful of days later, in a virtual meeting. And he's like, of course, this is great news, but I consider it clean if you have a clean biopsy and a clean MRI. I'm on board. I said I'm on board. Of course, we're going to do active. We're gonna monitor this very closely. Every 3 months, I'm going to do a PSA test, is what they call abnormal blood work. Checking your blood work for. I'll get into that later. But the PSA test I'm going to do every 3 months. I'm going to do in another MRI after 6 months, so that would be June-ish. I'm going to do another MRI, and I said I'm going to do what I told myself. My wife and I are on board to do this diet that we're doing for a full year, and just stick with it, continue, just plow through, and it started getting easier. At first I felt very deprived, felt very much like no one at work wants to invite you out, to beer, go get chicken wings or whatever. And I don't want to go because I don't know what to say. I know this will all change, this will all evolve, this will, I'll turn more into my own person, be more comfortable with what I'm doing, and that it is very different than the normal lifestyle here. Active surveillance is the name for what we're going to be doing for the rest of my life, I guess. Yeah. So the idea is to do an MRI after 6 months, and actually do, depending on the MRI, see if another biopsy is warranted anytime soon or something like that. So then that comes the question, okay, if there's such a good chance that I had cancer and a fairly aggressive one that the MRI showed, and then the biopsy came back clear, with the 2 months that I went total hardcore on my diet and my meditation and taking baths every day and saunas and the cancer protocols that many people have, the alternative cancer protocols. I didn't take any medicine. I saw a nutritionist. I forgot to add that. I saw a nutritionist throughout it. She was awesome. She was on board with all I was doing. She actually recommended Chris Beats Cancer as well, and I said, I already started the protocol. I'm on board 100%. That was really refreshing. That was awesome that she recommended him as well. And I upped some things, did a full panel of blood tests for the nutritionist. So I upped some things that are more proactive, for more therapeutic for prostate issues and things like that. And so that was awesome. I did her supplements. I did a mix of Chris Beats Cancer and a mix of the medical medium of Anthony William, and I got a clean biopsy. I don't know if it's because of what I did, and frankly I don't really care. I just know that it feels good, what I've done so far. I haven't felt the need to celebrate it either. Celebrate with a pizza or something, even though Costco pizza I could just die for. I felt like this is my mission. And I don't know if my mission involves telling you about that, about health issues and the things that I'm doing. It's pretty awesome. Not just the health benefits and things that I felt positive about it, but also how more stable I feel after the initial shock and the detox of it all. So I know even past this year, I might come up with a compromise of how to change things and change things up. The more I read, the more I find out. But but I know deep inside that my switch that I turned on and deciding that I want to live made that biopsy come back clear. I've done a lot of spiritual work. I lived in Brazil for 5 years, just, working on myself and working on myself spiritually and stuff like that. But until this point, until this experience, I realized that I didn't truly have an understanding of it before. And now I'm starting to have a better understanding of just like what it involves to really take care of myself, to really nurture myself. And I'm still learning. I still go through shit and struggles, and a lot of times that's hard for me to wake up in the morning. It's I feel, down so many days that it's hard to show love to my wife. It's hard to show love to myself. And I hope and pray that this changes, and I know it will. I know it will. I went through changes like this before, or not like this, but I know things get better. When I quit smoking, it took a while before I started going, wow, how did I even do that before? I realize that, thank you for being here with me for 30 minutes now. I appreciate you listening to my story. I really do. And I really hope that you share this with somebody, in my age bracket, or that's even going to go to a urologist for the first time. I don't know how many, of course I don't know in the future what I'm going to have time for and stuff, but I would love to make more videos about different things that I've found, the different eating things that I've done, especially bouncing on the Bellicon has been incredibly helpful. Different meditation stuff I'm doing. I even started a group for dealing with stress and anxiety and just a sense of community, having a sense of community, so that's been incredibly helpful and awesome for me. But I want my story to mean more than just keeping it to myself and being private about it. I want people to know that it's go get tested first of all, to get, do your test. If something's not right, something doesn't feel right down there, you're getting up to pee more often, go do it at 40, go do it at 35, go do it at whatever. Just go get the exam. It's not as bad as you think, and it's really nice to know that there's nothing that you have to be scared of. And if there is something you're being scared of, that there are ways to transform your life. I'm in the process of it, so I don't feel like I can say like I've achieved it. I got the goal, I'm going through this shit. And I'm in the thick of it. And I'm really surprised that I got the courage to make this video. It was pretty cool. My friend Charles was doing Movember, right in November, the same time I got cancer, and I wanted to contribute more or come out with something, but I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the motivation, I didn't have whatever. I donated some money to Charles doing his thing, but now that I'm getting more strength, now that I'm getting more things, I really want to start talking about this and bring it up, because all the searching that I've done, yes, there's alternative stuff out there, but there's just like, there's so much stuff of just like, get healthy quick, take this elixir, take this thing, and it's going to change your life. And it ain't true. You got to do it I realized from that first time that I got up off the bed and I passed out, that there's no medicine that's going to change my life. It's got to be my decision, and it's got to be, I got to live the most healthy, best what I feel is right. And there are plenty of resources out there, but you got to get past all that trash to find what's real and what's true. And I wish to share that with you guys. I thank you for listening, and I am sending you so much love, because you might be listening to this because you love me and I love you. And if you're listening to this because you're dealing with a health issue of some sort, or you have a scare going on, you're not alone, and there's so much support out there. It takes a while and it takes energy to actually get out there and find it. But as I'm gaining more energy, I'm gonna get out there and start sharing my story more. I'm gonna get out there and start encouraging others more, because we're all doing this together. We're all living life together. It might seem very separated at the moment and divided, but we are all doing this together. And we can all live the greatest life that we can manifest, that we can dream of. I know that. I believe that deep in my heart. So that is what my pursuit is, and I'm here to help any one of you to do the same. And we can do it together. I love you so much. I'm giving you a big hug. Ciao.